Okay, so new footage from House of the Dragon just dropped, and let me tell you, it is sending book readers into an absolute frenzy. And you know why? Because it confirms the show is finally diving into some of the deepest, most ancient lore from the books. We're talking secrets the original series never even had a chance to touch. So let's break down exactly what this all means. So, what was the most shocking part? Well, it's these mysterious, green-skinned figures meeting with the sorceress Alice Rivers. Now, these are not just some random monsters they threw in. No, no. This is a deep cut from the lore. So the big question is, who are they? And why is their arrival a potential game changer for this entire war? All right, let's get right to it. These figures are known as the Green Men. They're members of an ancient and incredibly sacred order that has been protecting one of Westeros' most mystical locations for thousands of years. To put it simply, they are the sworn guardians of the mystical Isle of Faces. Their ancient order was literally forged in the aftermath of that legendary world-shaping war between the First Men and the Children of the Forest. And their appearance, as you can probably guess, is completely otherworldly. You see, they're a hybrid race, a mix of the First Men and the Children of the Forest. They're larger than the Children, they have green skin, these cool antler-like horns, and they're practically immortal. Now, you might remember Daemon had this fleeting, terrifying vision of one back in Season 2, but this is the first time the franchise is giving us a proper, in-the-flesh look at these mythical beings. So to really understand the Green Men, you have to go way back. We have to talk about the event that created them in the first place, the Pact. And to understand the Pact, you really have to understand the Weirwood trees, because the history of this whole agreement is literally carved right into them. So picture this. It's the ancient Dawn Age. The invading First Men are waging this brutal war against the native children of the forest. The children get desperate, and in that desperation, they create the White Walkers as a weapon. Big mistake. They lose control of their own creation, which plunges the world into the first long night. So to survive, these two mortal enemies had to team up, defeat their creation, and finally sign a peace treaty. And the location they chose for this monumental treaty was this small, secluded island right in the middle of the God's Eye Lake. This island, which we now know as the Isle of Faces, is arguably the most sacred and historically significant place in all of Westeros. So to make sure the old gods themselves were witnesses to this treaty, the Children of the Forest went and carved a face into every single weirwood tree on that island. That's the origin of those iconic bleeding faces we see all the time. They are the silent, eternal witnesses to the Pact. And here is a fantastic little behind-the-scenes detail for you. The face on the weirwood at Harrenhal, the very one Daemon touches during his crazy prophetic visions in Season 2, is actually a cameo by George R.R. Martin himself. I mean, the creator of this entire world is now literally one of the old gods watching his own story unfold. How cool is that? You know, this just brilliantly illustrates a core theme of the entire saga. In Westeros, history isn't just something you read about in dusty old books. It's alive. It's carved into the trees and preserved in the land itself. Okay, so that's the ancient history lesson. But why does any of this matter to the war between Rhaenyra and Aegon right now? Well, because the Green Men don't just show up for no reason. Their return signals a major shift in the magical landscape of Westeros. And believe me, it is going to have direct consequences for this war. You see, in the source material, the Green Men play this absolutely pivotal role. Right before a really decisive battle, a key player in the war actively goes looking for them on the Isle of Faces to get their wisdom. And that character is Adam Velaryon. The books tell us he flies his dragon, Sea Smoke, all the way to the Isle of Faces just to meet with the Green Men, and the advice he gets from them is believed to be absolutely critical for the outcome of the Second Battle of Tumbleton. So the show is very, very likely laying the groundwork for this to happen in a future season. And hey, it's not just Adam. Let's think about Daemon for a second. His visions of the Green Men and that whole Weirwood network back in Season 2, those weren't just random fever dreams. They are direct foreshadowing for his eventual legendary duel with Aemond, which, get this, takes place in the sky directly above the Isle of Faces. See? It's all connected. Now, the return of this ancient magic isn't happening in a vacuum. Of course not. It's happening at the exact moment the realm of men is just tearing itself apart. So, as the Green Men begin to stir, the Dance of the Dragons is about to escalate into a full-blown, all-out war. And the new footage, it gives us a terrifying preview of the bloodshed that's coming. One of the major new battles we're seeing teased is the Battle of the Fish Feed. And as you can see right here, this is where the war truly goes national. On one side, fighting for Rhaenyra, you've got the ferocious Stark forces, led by Roddy the Ruin and his infamous Winter Wolves. And on the other, fighting for Aegon, you have the might of the Lannister army. With this battle, the North has officially entered the chat, and the consequences are gonna be bloody. And trust me, that's just the beginning. The fish feed is going to be followed by other brutal conflicts, like the one they call the Butcher's Ball. Season 3 isn't about one or two big flashy battles. It's about a widespread, grinding war that's just erupting all across Westeros. The body count, it is going to be high. But, and this is a big but, as high as the death toll is in Season 3, the source material makes one thing terrifyingly clear. The body count in Season 4 will be far, far higher. The worst is absolutely yet to come. Which brings us all the way back to the Green Men. As the realm bleeds and the dragons dance, this ancient power is finally stirring from its long slumber. So the question is no longer if old magic is returning, but whether it will be the decisive factor in who ultimately gets to sit on that Iron Throne.